Our topic is the new imperialism. I'm Barry, and my other two team members are Ashley and Stevie.
Hello.
What is the new imperialism, you ask? It is a term for the late 19th and early 20th centuries for a series of conquests by European powers, along with the United States and Japan. From 1864 to 1914, Europeans and Americans conquered 10 million square miles and 150 million people. When it came to an army, both Europe and America had pretty unstoppable forces. Moving on to political motives, European powers were much like U.S. teenagers. In the late 19th century, Italy, Portugal, and Belgium were extremely competitive and very hypersensitive about their status. Each region was also very motivated by political rivalries. Very comparable to them were the French. They were defeated by Prussia, and suddenly their world came crashing down. Through territorial acquisitions overseas, they were determined to reestablish their nation's prestige. Now Great Britain was already in possession of India, so they thought it would be generous of them to protect India by acquiring colonies in East Africa and Southeast Asia. So much like teenagers, each region strived to maintain a powerful reputation, and they all had gigantic egos. Political motives were not just obtained by statesmen. Colonial governors had a few of their own. They seemed to have lived out the dream of what every homeowner would like to do to a pesky neighbor. They would defeat them rather than make peace with them. If they had an issue with neighboring regions, colonial governors would send in troops to take over their territory. In doing this, European powers gained a lot of West Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Islands. Within cultural motives, religion was a big part. In Europe and North America, as both Catholics and Protestants founded new missionary societies, a Christian revival washed over them. Their intentions extended beyond just trying to cram the Bible down people's throats. This revival was also cultural. It was an attempt to abolish slavery and modernize. Missionaries were sneaky, yet effective, without directly challenging colonialism, and softened the harshness around it. For instance, fighting for women's health in society. They even denounced child marriage in India. They were brave and fought for what they believed in. While we are discussing culture, racism, unfortunately, also played a big role. Racists would rank non-European individuals of various cultures and races. They would go as far as to essentially rank a human being based on physical appearance from civilized all the way down to savage. Haha, sounds like an excerpt from the movie Mean Girls, but seriously, the idea of racism should totally be placed in the burn book. Moving on, young European men were eager to explore overseas as destinations. Actually, this led to huge communication and a world news boost. Economically speaking, Europe and North America had high demands for raw materials from wire to diamonds. So as the Carol would say, they would go to each region and be like, mine. Investors traveled to Asia, Latin America, and Africa. See, Africa had rich mineral resources and diamonds. So Europe and North America saw dollar signs, scooped them up, and were like, ooh, pretty, mine. Altogether, Europe and North America exploited resources from other regions, no matter how harsh they had to be. It's like eating a bag of chips. Once they had one resource, they had to have them all. The tools of imperialism. Shipping, much like a wrench, tightened up some loose bolts in trade. The building of the Suez Canal led to a trading boom in the Indian Ocean and East Asia. Gunboats were also a success and were protected, like pirates in search of treasure. Natural obstacles, such as malaria, reached the thieves before they would get to reach their treasure. By the 1860s, firearms had become much more deadly. In 1870, all European and United States armies had switched to the new rifles that, like depressed romantics at a bar, the rifles could shoot 15 rounds in 15 seconds. All these tools came in handy in the Battle of Omdurman on September 2nd, 1898. 40,000 Sudanese attacked an Anglo-Egyptian expedition to avenge the defeat of General Charles Gordon. 6 steamers, 4 other boats, and 20 machine guns were what the Anglo-Egyptian army had in their possession. But those Sudanese charged out at them with their muskets and spears and said, "Get on my level." Despite their hopes, within a few hours, 11,000 Sudanese and 48 British lay dead. Colonialism is comparable to a group of despicable kids, picking on people for the benefit of their self-esteem, except with territories. Basically, colonialism is when colonies distribute and exploit territories for the benefit of the home country. Similar to imperialism, but with colonialism, a governmental element is put in place. White American and European women eventually started traveling to the colonies with their colonial official husbands. When you throw a white woman in Asia or Africa, it's like the first day of high school, being thrown into a jungle of the unknown, dazed and confused. Still, the day must go on. While that was true, some of the women got a chance to exercise personal initiative, usually charitable work for women and children. Despite their good intents, their efforts were always subordinate to the work of men. If only those women knew, you do you, boo. In conclusion, the age of new imperialism was a time of colonial expansion, both politically and socially. While politically, physical expansion and conquest was occurring, socially, minority groups, though receiving slight relief, remained oppressed overall.